Hello, our people, and welcome to the Girl Boy Games podcast, where I, Lucas Leander, aka the Bearded Panda on YouTube, and melthemaneater, aka Mel the Man-Eater on YouTube. I almost messed that up because when I said Mel, I was thinking Mel the Man-Eater, and then your name Melly, and then I was like Mel the Panda. Discuss
AKA your fiance.
We discuss everything gaming, and with the occasional guest on our new blue couch.
Yes, we got a new
blue couch. It looks extra blue in the camera, and it's not
it's
that
not
blue.
that, it's actually kind of more of a light blue.
Yes.
It's not helping that my sweater is like a kind of a light color, so I think the contrast in the camera is going crazy.
It's making it look
now.
crazy. We need a better camera, guys. We need a better
we
camera.
need a better camera.
But if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please drop us a follow on your preferred podcast platform. And if you want even more hilarious content, consider following us at our YouTube at
Girlboy Bames.
You say.
Girlboy Games.
There we go. And our Twitter at girlboygamesyt. Girlboygamesyt, I repeat. And our TikTok, I will repeat it again, girlboygamesyt, for even more hilarious clips.
Help us afford a camera.
And help me remember our own podcast name. Holy moly. So, on today's podcast, you already know what we're talking about. Jedi Survivor Impressions. We haven't beat the game. We can't review the game.
No, this is not a Jedi Survivor review.
Yes.
This is Jedi Survivor first impressions from the first 10 hours of the game?
Less? Definitely less. Yeah, now thinking about it, I've probably played 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, we're in the first 5 hours of the game.
And we have to tackle the elephant in the room, because everyone's gonna be screaming at their monitors and at their phones if we don't talk about it. The game is glitched. It's bugged.
Yes, it is a little buggy.
Yes.
It is definitely a little buggy. The frames, they be dropping.
Mm-hmm.
They be popping, locking, and dropping frames all over the place.
You want 60? Nah, fam. You're getting 40, 2, 30, 60, just up and down, up and down.
Throwing it back.
Yeah, it's weird because, okay, my perspective on this, right? The game Jedi Survivor is getting review bombed on both Steam and I think Metacritic, right? The reviewers, they were like, this will get eventually fixed. We enjoyed the game, so we're just going to rate it how we would rate it if the game was decent, because this will probably get fixed, right? Yeah. While the PC gamers, the quote-unquote master race, that's what they call themselves.
I know,
that's what they call
cringe,
it. Is
though.
cringe. It is cringe. They came in and they review bombed the game. I saw a review that was like, my 4070 can't handle this at 60 frames. And honestly, I will side with the PC master race and say that
I'm gonna stay in the middle.
it's a little ridiculous that you can have a 4070 or a 3090 and this thing isn't dropping a consistent 60. It was definitely, with those graphics cards and with a good setup, there's a lot of things that go into play.
There's a lot of money you gotta throw at it.
A lot of money you gotta throw at it. But you should be getting 100 frames a second, 80 frames a second, something along those lines. But what do you think? What are you thinking about this?
So I think I would agree. I would say it sucks that you could throw your whole life savings at a PC and it can't run Jedi Survivor, which is supposed to be, you put all of your entire life into this PC and making it good and making it run like anything you want it to. And then this new game comes out to serve so that your PC can serve the purpose that you created it for.
Yes.
And it can't. And it has nothing to do with your PC and everything to do with the game optimization. And like when I got my PC, is not fancy, mind you, but I tried to originally, before I got a PS5, play Elden Ring on my PC.
Yes.
And as we've possibly discussed before, it ran like buns. It was the worst. Like, I stopped playing Elden Ring, and I still haven't gotten really back into it.
Yeah.
Because I was so hyped for the game. Game came out, dropping frames, taking a dookie everywhere, and then I stopped playing. It quite literally everywhere.
Pants destroyed.
Pants destroyed. No, nothing was clean. It was Elden Ring. everywhere.
Throw into the trash.
Throw into the trash. And so I didn't really ever play it. So I could understand people's like, I got this PC, like why can't it run this well? But I don't think, and I understand the sentiment, but I also think you're overreacting a little bit.
I do think they're overreacting. They're definitely overreacting because if a game if a game's broken, that's a reason to give it a 1 out of 10.
If the game is
10.
unplayable,
It's unplayable,
I understand that.
That is understandable. But here's the thing, on Steam, you can refund the game even after playing 2 hours. So it's not quite even that drastic
no, but
of a
then
thing.
we get into the whole thing like, well, I had to keep playing the game for 5 hours and then for 10 hours to make sure it was ass, and then I tried to return it.
Maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that. But anyways, I don't think it deserves the review bomb because so far we have been enjoying the game.
Yeah.
And here's the issue. To us, a broken game is a game that is quite literally unplayable. But we have to think about the audience, the general audience we're thinking about.
Yes.
And to them, to the PC master race,
Yeah.
a broken game is something that can't run 4K 60 frames a second consistently no matter what they're doing.
And I think this comes to a big problem in gaming, which is the fact that nowadays, right, in the past, in the golden era of the past, when the PC honestly was kind of the PC master race,
it was.
Back in the day, a game came out, maybe it didn't come out at the same time on PC, right? Maybe it came out later, right? But you knew when it came on the PC,
it was going to be
man, you're going to be able to
chef's kiss.
crank that. If you had a good PC, you could crank that thing up and you could make it insane. You could add mods, you could do all this stuff. You could run 120 frames with ultra settings and everything. That's what PC gamers have been promised in their lifestyle, and that's what their whole identity is, throwing money at their problems and getting the craziest graphics and performance ever created. And that's understandable though, because if you have the money for a $3,000 PC, you should get $3,000 worth of performance. A PS5 should not be able to destroy your performance.
Your performance, yeah.
But on the same hand, I feel like honestly at this point, it used to be if you want the best per experience, you might have to wait a little while, but it's always going to be PC. I think at this point, if you want
it's flipped.
the worst, at least day one, if you're one of those people who play games later, you're still in the gold. But if you want the worst day one experience, welcome to PC. Welcome to PC. The land of horrible experiences day one. If you want a good experience day one, go to PS5. Go to even Xbox Series X, because guess what? Those developers will optimize their games for that because that's where they're making the money.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's sad, but
we also have to think about what happened with The Last of Us.
Oh, man.
Because that's not a day one. They came out later on PC, and it was... Whoo!
Yeah. But Sony don't give a shit. They're like, guess what? Buy our console. Sony's like, buy our console. No, they're fixing that game, but...
Yeah, but anyways, all of this just wraps into, the PC is... it will never get phased out.
No, it's getting the shaft right now. And
it is definitely getting the shaft right now.
That's the thing, it's getting the shaft because it is getting prioritized more, right? Like I said, in the past, they may have had to wait, but when they waited, they got the best version of the game, right?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it came out at the same time. Every game was different in the past. But nowadays, because developers are stretched thin, right? It's like, okay, Jedi Survivor is supposed to be a big AAA game. It's supposed to be like God of War. It's supposed to be like one of these huge games. But here's the thing. What is God of War, Horizon? All these Ghost of Tsushima, these games have together. They are all being optimized for one, maybe two consoles.
Yeah.
PS5 or a PS5 and a PS4.
Exactly.
That is it. Versus you're trying to make Jedi Survivor run on a PS5, a Series X, all PC configurations.
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna say next. I was thinking about it, and I was like, why isn't it optimized for PC?
Yeah.
You know how many different companies and how many different configurations of a PC that you can have. It is probably getting very, very hard for developers to be like, how do we optimize this for the 3090 XC micro
3090,
motherboard?
4090, 3090.
Like,
no, yeah, there's a bajillion different ways to customize a PC that they have to optimize for. And I'm not trying to give them a pass.
No.
I'm just saying that we need maybe to reset our expectations when it comes to developers, and maybe give them more time to develop these games and to optimize them. Because, okay, everyone wants to complain. They want to dunk on these games and give them the L no matter what they do. Oh, you delayed the game? Your game fucking sucks. L. Oh, your game came out sooner rather than later, and you said you're gonna optimize it later. L. It, like, no matter what, gamers want to rage. They want to rage. They want to be unhappy. And if the game, there's always gonna be something. There's always gonna be. It could be like, oh, there's 2 girls kissing in this game. I'm gonna review bomb it. Like, it can be literally any.
I don't think any gamer in that specific situation.
No, it's happened. It's happened. Yes, things like that happen.
A bunch of weird homophobes.
That's what I'm saying. Is that it could be performance. It could be endless issues endless variety of reasons why someone would want to mauled and be mad, and that's gaming culture. And so I think we should, guess what, change the gaming culture to be more inclusive and to realize developers are people, and they get these pressures because of you guys and because of the publishers wanting to make money. And so we need to give them a little bit of a break and tell them, oh, keep delaying the game, right? Or maybe release different, like, you remember how Hogwarts Legacy, it released on Xbox One and PS4 later, like months later.
Oh, I had no idea.
And know why? So they can optimize the game.
Yeah, and
it's
everyone wants this day one, like, same date thing, when really if we gave developers the chance to be like, okay, if we optimized this for the Xbox Series X and the PS5 in 2 months or even 3 months, however long it takes, you will be able to play this on your Xbox One or on your whatever, but that's not our main concern right now because we're trying to sell these next-gen consoles.
Yes.
And I think if we all just changed our collective mindset about... Because when I really think about it, what was a few years ago? A few years ago, it was like, I want bigger games. I want them faster, and I want more of them, but I want them all to be perfect.
Yeah, it's all these stipulations.
And so when you take this thing that, like, game development is so unfathomably difficult.
Yes.
And when you put that on a completely unrealistic time with anything that's hard to do, and you put it on an unrealistic time crunch, then that's how you make bad content. And that's how you get bugs and frame dropping and all of the things that you then like to eat up and complain about. When really, if a game developer comes to us, the gaming community, and says, honestly, we should have more time for this game, our response should be, let them cook.
Let them cook. I'm seeing more and more content creators voice this. The one they're like, when a game gets delayed, I'm excited. And I feel the exact same way. Like, okay, if a game's been strung together forever, if they announce it 5 years earlier and they're like, okay, we're delaying the game for the 4th time. Okay, that's just, like, scary. But, like...
Yeah, but that was like, bro, you're setting yourself unrealistic expectations. Why didn't you just tell me?
But when it got announced, like, 2 years ago, hasn't been delayed yet, we're like, okay, guys, we're delaying it 1 year. We want to make this as polished as possible. Like God of War got delayed, and guess what? That game came out crazy. That game came out amazing.
Because we let them cook.
We let them cook.
Gotta let them cook.
Gotta let them cook. But into the actual impressions for Jedi Survivor. Now that we don't have to talk about the people complaining about things that they probably should complain about. The game is really fun.
Yes.
It's great. The story, at least for me, was like immediately intriguing. I think it sets up well. I do have a couple gripes. I feel like I just want to kind of get it out of the way.
Get off your chest.
Get off my chest. It's just, I feel like for me, it isn't even for me. Usually, frame rate, performance issues, stuff like that. Oh yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I just got a really
Yeah.
big bite of cinnamon though. I was like,
Yeah, Melly, if you're listening, she just licked the cinnamon caramel cold brew cold foam.
off the lid.
You know, that sounds good. But where was I? Oh, performance issues don't get me that bad. It's usually like polish. If the game's not polished, that's where it gets me. And so the difference between the difference between performance issues and polish. Performance issues are like frame rate, game crashing, like people like floating and like T-posing, like stuff like that. That can be really annoying, especially if that's consistent. But usually that stuff isn't consistent. It just happens and like ruins your experience for a moment. Polish, on the other hand, I feel like is a more consistent thing throughout the game where it's like, I don't like, okay, God of War, right? When you're fighting Baldur, right? And you're fighting him, and then you go into a part where maybe you grab each other and you throw each other, right? It's all seamless. They made that seamless. For me, I'm fighting a boss, and all of a sudden, I hit a certain percentage of their health bar, and then it cuts me into this cutscene, and you're in a different part of the arena.
Yeah, it's not fluid.
It's not fluid at all. And there's a lot of moments in the game where just like the animations aren't quite fluid, or the transition, the cutscenes aren't fluid, and it kind of it's just like micro pulling me out of it over and over and over. Because it's pretty consistent. I feel like honestly, a lot of the animations for a lot of the creatures, or a lot of the special moves, like the moves that you want to look the craziest and be the most smooth, are usually the most janky.
Oh no!
While the more basic animations of him just like attacking, that feels great.
Yeah.
That feels like where it should be. But it's like, okay, maybe there's some crazy Cyclops ox thing with goat legs, and then you're fighting it, right? And then you want to do like a finisher move, and he does like some backflip and a spin and everything. That will look very jank. They'll have like the creature will be like, let's say you're hitting it, so it's flinching backwards. It's like sliding backwards. Like there's things that like it doesn't land the impact and the polish that it should have.
You're like, I want this to look really, really cool and badass. And like it kind of does, but it also kind of looks like I broke the game a little bit.
No, honestly. And it's like, these are the execution, like, crazy cutscene. Not cutscene, but like crazy animation moments. And I feel like I'm breaking the game with them. It's
and here's
weird.
And here's my take on that is I think, and this is where competition kind of comes into play with different game developers and the gaming franchises that exist, is I don't think that you would have this, I don't think it would bother you as much if God of War hadn't set such a high precedent. Because God of War does it so unbelievably seamlessly.
Yes.
It makes you smile every time it happens.
And that's the thing, is I don't want to compare it because I'm like, okay.
But also you have that feeling.
I have to,
You have that internal feeling of, I know what it feels like and what it looks like when I'm in a combat scene, that I throw a punch and it immediately turns into a cutscene where they keep fighting and you're just like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yes.
And Jedi Survivor is definitely trying
to be that.
It's trying to create that. And I mean, I applaud it for trying, because that has to be a really hard thing to do.
Yes.
To create that, like, no matter where you are in the map, or wherever you are in this arena, in this boss fight, it'll transition smoothly.
Yeah.
And they're struggling with that a little bit. And as much as I do enjoy a lot of the cutscenes that we've seen that are in the middle of combat and stuff, it's just the transition that's kind of janky. And so I understand where you're coming from with that, but I think God of War has set such a high expectation for when it comes to that, and so you don't even realize, you're like, oh, I'm comparing this to God of War. Like, because not even to God of War necessarily, but to what I know of smooth combat to cutscene to like crazy combo sequences. So
having that experience, it does make a direct comparison. And here's the thing, across the board, Sony has their hands on narrative driven action games that is like that is what they do. That's their bread and butter, and they're so good at it that when a game like this comes out, which it theoretically could be just as good as God of War, and when it's not, you're like, it's hard not to make that comparison. But that's my one issue with the kind of the jank of the game. My only story issue so far. I'm enjoying the story. I'm liking the story. This might be my last issue period before I just kind of get into like ranting about how I like the game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do very light spoilers. Basically, there's a dude who he's seemingly going to be the main antagonist, and he's like a person from the past or whatever, right? And so he's supposed to be like a Jedi, right? And I swear the flip of a dime that this dude becomes like evil. I don't know. It was just like,
it was a little weird.
It was just like, oh hi, oh we can do this together. Awesome. Psych, disassembles the thing. Like so on the nose. Like, you see this gold lightsaber? Fuck this. This thing's red now. I'm a Sith. And starts fighting. Like, it was a cool moment, him like doing it, and then
it's really cool, and you're just watching, like, oh my, like, what is he doing? What is he doing? But then you're also kind of like, why is he? Why?
Why right now? Like, and why is he so obviously? I'm evil now.
No,
red lightsaber.
It was like
I'm the good guy though.
He was like, oh, I'm an edgelord. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not a Sith Lord. I'm an edgelord. That's kind of what he was.
I'm a dark force user. Like, that's what it came across as.
I'm gonna dye my lightsaber red. Like my hair.
But you know what? That means I'm good. I'm a good guy because I have a red lightsaber. Like, it's like if you
it was on a dime.
Guys, if you have this cool gold-looking lightsaber, and you go through the effort of mid-fight changing it red, you're the bad guy. Like, you're the bad guy. I'm sorry, folks.
But I think it didn't help that in the cut. So you get an inference on why he's bad in some of the cutscenes before you fight him.
Yeah.
Or like why he turns bad, you know? Who's done him wrong, whatever. And it bothers me because it's like, okay, yeah, but homie jumped from point A to point edgelord, like, and we just didn't cover anything in between.
Yes.
Like, we know what kind of happens, but we don't really know, like, we need some more, and, maybe we'll go and we'll play, and there'll be more cutscenes that go back.
And probably definitely will.
This is not a review. These are just our first impressions.
We are like 5 hours into the game. This is not a review.
This is not a review. We could, see, maybe there are some more cutscenes about him and what happened to him and that whole event that happened that is why he is turned to the edgelord side.
Yeah.
And then it'd be fine. But right now we are lacking reason, and it went from like, oh yeah, flashbacks to when I was a good guy. Oh no, something happened. Now I'm the bad guy.
No, it was 100% like that. And yeah, that was kind of dumb, but it wasn't,
He is kind of hot though.
That dude?
Yeah.
That dude over here, like.
Hey, if you Austin Arm, I'd still love you.
Thank you. Because I just have, look.
Oh, no!
But the game is good. The game is really good. Like, okay. The combat, I love that Cal feels powerful. It doesn't feel like, oh, time to completely reset him.
Yeah, he still feels powerful.
Yeah, he still feels powerful.
Even just when you're walking towards stormtroopers, and then my favorite thing is when you hold down like the left bumper, and you're like, and he's just like casually just flipping his lightsaber, like not like he does. I think it's the gangsterness in which he does it, because he does like he's not even trying. Homie just starts like.
Yeah, he feels like a veteran.
Like,
he feels like Obi-Wan Clone Wars. Like, he's just like, nah, fam. Like, nah, fam. Like I know who I am.
A really good example is like Obi-Wan from Stone Wars.
Oh man, we're getting extra stones.
I like how you talk about like that stone, and I was like the Stone Wars, the Boulder Strikes Back.
The boulder.
The Boulder.
Oh man, this is the craziest crossover ever.
But anyways, Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars is a great example because in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan's just a badass.
He's a badass. He's aggressive.
He's aggressive. Like, he just knows what he's doing. And that's the vibe I'm getting from Cal, for the most part, in what we've played of the game so far.
Yes.
Like, he has his moments sometimes. But for the most part, he is definitely more so Obi-Wan, less so edgelord Anakin.
Like, he still has his dual lightsaber. And the different stances, I love it. I haven't gotten the two new stances. Like, there's one with, like, a blaster, and there's one where he has like the Kylo Ren hilt,
the little hilt,
and it's like a heavy lightsaber. I haven't gotten those yet, but just transitioning between like the dual lightsabers. I usually do the dual lightsabers or the connected dual lightsabers where it's like a staff.
Yeah.
And like with the dual ones, you could do this thing where you like weirdly meditate mid combo, and it seems
you go
and it's like floats on your hands. But the second they attack, you do like an immediate
it's like a
parry, like auto parry.
Yeah.
With the dual lightsaber that's connected, I'll call it the staff lightsaber. With the staff lightsaber, you can like a lot of crowd control. You can like spin it around you and dive into people and do all this acrobatic stuff that feels like Darth Maul. It feels like Darth Maul. Well, that's so great.
It's funny that like you're like the dual lightsaber, and for the longest time when I thought of the dual lightsaber, I was thinking of Darth Maul's lightsaber. But now we've come so far with lightsabers that now it's like, oh no, but you can literally like have one in each hand. It's a dual lightsaber, and I'm like, but so what do I call this one now? I guess it's the staff.
I guess it's you do think about that. I guess it's dual wield, dual lightsaber. It's so cool, guys. It's awesome. I haven't gotten that deep into the force powers, but they seem awesome, great, powerful. It just feels solid, just like such a solid Star Wars game. The parkour, rock solid. The boulder. But the parkour actually feels, I think, so fun, fun to do. A little more arcadey than something like Uncharted, right? Because it kind of gets its roots from Uncharted, how the climbing is. But now it feels a little bit more arcadey, right? You can like wall run, then jump off, then jump back onto the same wall, keep wall running. You don't need like two walls to go up either. You could like just jump, almost Mario, like jump off the wall, do a forced jump upwards, jump back on the wall, and just do that over and over and over and over to get up.
Oh.
It's very like arcadey, but in a grounded way. It doesn't feel like you are Mario. Like it feels like it belongs. Like he's using the force in a way that makes sense.
Cal Kestis.
What else?
Woo-hoo!
What else is great about this game? I feel like the enemy variety. That's great. I'm huge with enemy variety. That's what I love to see in games. I want new things to fight constantly, new dynamics, new things to figure out. I like that.
We haven't even talked about the most important part about this game. The soundtrack.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say no poncho.
Oh no, I missed the poncho.
No poncho. No,
I
you're
love
playing
that he
into the
makes.
meme. You're playing into the meme. No poncho. No poncho. Hashtag no poncho. Hashtag no poncho.
I love that he references the poncho, and
he low-key did make me want a poncho.
He was like, and what was it? He's something about a cape, and he's like, "Sorry, I'm more of a poncho guy." And I was like, "Yeah."
It was so good. It was so good.
The poncho.
Okay. I'm gonna talk about the customization. If you could do me a favor while I'm talking about customization, and tell Sunday to get the hell out.
She's scratching on the door.
My dog's she's scratching on my door, and we're trying to just have a good time. We're just trying to talk about Jedi Survivor, but yeah, there's a lot of customization. Finally, my dude can have a beard, and I'm the bearded panda, so I love beards. Not saying you need to have a beard, but he looks.
You're saying you need
great.
To have a beard.
He looks grizzled. He has the scar now.
Grizzled.
He just. My boy kind of handsome, bro. Like,
he is kind of handsome. Like, he do be handsome.
Yes, he looks awesome. You can customize him way more now. No poncho. You have a cape. I think you have a poncho at some point.
You probably get a poncho at some point.
And so you can customize your lightsaber colors. You get all the colors right from the get-go. Customize your droid BD1. He's honestly like my favorite Star Wars droid. I love BD1. I love his design. I want like a little figurine. Eventually back here, well, eventually we won't be here, but eventually back here, I want a BD1 little droid because
I would love that.
I love him. So you can customize your Cal to fit exactly what your headcanon.
He can have a mullet.
Yeah, he can have a mullet. You want a mullet? You want a mullet with a one singular beard hair down the chin? You can do that.
No, you.
But the soundtrack?
So we were on our way to go pick up my Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED the other day.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about in another podcast. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And we were on Spotify looking for music to listen to, and we didn't even like search it up. It just came up in like the search result. I don't know. It came up somewhere. There is a Jedi Survivor playlist on like official playlist on Spotify.
Playlist.
Not like some fan made. No, it is for Jedi Survivor. It's music that is inside the game, and you need to pull up.
It's lit. It's great.
So they do have just a lot of songs that are like soundtrack, like background music or whatever. But the first songs that are at the top of the playlist is where the juice is
this is
at.
where the magic is, because there's this song. I think it's by like The Who or something. This music, it sounds primal. It sounds guttural.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you walked right into a tribe, a Celtic tribe, a Mongolian tribe, some sort of tribe.
And the way we compared it, we're like the Dothraki from Game of Thrones, but they're space.
Space Dothraki, the Ice Planet Barbarians. We're over here. We're play the music here, Lucas. Like it's so good. It gets you going. We can add this to the workout playlist. Well, why are you laughing at me, huh?
I just can't.
I like The Who. It's my favorite music now.
I can't get over that you call them the
Ice Planet Barbarians. That's what we call them now. The Ice Planet Dothraki. That's what we'll call them.
For those of you who don't know what the Ice Planet Barbarians are, if you're over 18, look it up. It's a book.
Yeah, it's just like a normal book, but
don't lie to them.
I just mean like there's not like pictures or anything. Like if you look this up, it's not gonna be like, oh my god, there's right in my face. Like it's not gonna be like that. It's just it's you still have to read. It's a book. It's a normal book.
Okay. That's enough.
But
about
going forward.
Well, you need to listen to the playlist. It's a good playlist. We jammed to that like weird Celtic space Dothraki music for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so to wrap up Jedi Survivor, it's a game that doesn't have polish, which is sad. I don't think it's ever going to get that polish. It has bugs, but I think those bugs will be fixed more so than Fallen Order's bugs were. But at the end of the day, it is a fun game. It just engrosses you in the world of Star Wars. It's some of my favorite ways to experience Star Wars. I think Star Wars is always such an easy grab for video game experiences, whether it's Battlefront, whether it's Force Unleashed, whether it's MMO. There's so many great ways to do Star Wars in video games. And Star Wars Squadrons, like flying stuff, Lego Star Wars. There's so many great Star Wars games. I think the gaming for Star Wars is honestly its most underrated, but one of its best mediums that it is in.
100%.
While like the movies have faltered, and while the shows have kind of taken up the mantle of like keeping its prestige, I think the games need more respect. And I think now that gaming's so popular and so mainstream, I think it does get that respect now, because you see in the fact that Cal Kestis is a part of the mainline story, and you can go to Disneyland and get his lightsaber. And for me, when I saw that, I obviously didn't have the money at the time to get a lightsaber, but I know for me personally, honestly, that is the lightsaber I would be drawn to buying.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they are giving it that much respect, right? They had the Star Wars Fest or whatever it was, and they had the actor for Cal walk on stage, and everyone was hyped and screaming and stuff. We're seeing that respect being given to Jedi Survivor, and it makes me very happy.
Yes, I am really happy that it's getting the respect I just only wish that the Force Unleashed was given the same respect, you know.
Man, give the
hashtag bring back Star Killer.
Hashtag bring back Star Killer.
Bring back Star Killer. You know what it is. But anyways, I think we should tie a ribbon on our Jedi Survivor segment.
Done.
Because we've only got like 20 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And we are going to move into my favorite topic. This podcast is going to be about. It's about a little game called Disney Speedstorm.
Yeah, you guys know. You guys know. We got the queen of the kart racers here, right? We honestly, we're the king and the queen of those like games that are like, for some reason, people just aren't talking about them, like Wild Hearts, like Speedstorm. Like, people love them, but they're just not given that respect.
They're not given that respect.
They're B to the A, right? Mario Kart's the A, and B is the Speedstorm, right? You got
Monster Hunter's
the A, and Wild Heart's the B, right? And we love the Bs.
We love the Bs.
We love the number 2s. And so, what?
Nothing.
So, we want to talk about Disney Speedstorm.
Yes. So, let me just tell you. First thing that we need to cover. And everyone that has been talking about this game, this is the first thing they talk about.
Yeah.
The soundtrack.
The soundtrack!
Oh my... I don't go clubbing, but oh man, you would catch me throwing it back in every single club that played any Disney, like, dubstep.
Guys, this is literally every every track that you wanted has been remixed to its ultimate form. You can work out to this music. You can dance to this music. I got a surround sound system. The bass was thumping. It honestly felt like a club.
You're in the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? It's like, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho.
And then you go to the castle, guys.
Oh man,
I love Beauty and the Beast. That's one of my favorite Disney animated films. Is Beauty and the Beast. And you have Gaston's theme.
Oh my gosh.
You got Gaston's theme. Oh. This is where we put the music in. Oh. Yeah. It's so great. It's so great. I love it.
Good. It's all so good. And it's just... It's like what you didn't know you needed from like those childhood songs that you come to love, and then they turn it into a crazy dubstep remix, DJ Wicca Wicca freaking awesome music to go along with the amazing kart racing game that you're playing, where you are playing all your favorite Disney characters racing, and it's not janky.
No, it's not janky. It controls super well. It's tight. I will say there's a degree of like, okay, and it's probably a good thing. In Mario Kart, you can get far ahead and you're like, yeah, you can get Mario Kart and you can get blue shelled and red shelled, all different stuff. But for the most part, if you're that good, you can just be so far ahead of everyone and you're like, F you guys, like I'm out of here. In Speedstorm, you can never get so far ahead that you're free. You're scot-free. You are always worried that someone will overtake you at any moment.
There is no blue shell equivalent in Mario Speedstorm. And I just said Mario Speedstorm.
In Mario Speedstorm, Return of Mickey Mouse.
That would just be Kingdom Hearts kart racing.
Oh my god. Kingdom Hearts kart race.
But anyways... Yeah. So I would just say that this game is actually very comparable to Mario Kart in the way that it handles, which is why I will compare it to Mario Kart and not any other kart racer that I've played. It's not like Forza, those aren't kart racers, but it's not like Forza, it's not like Gran Turismo. It is very much like Mario Kart, and it handles very much like Mario Kart. Obviously, the controls are a little bit different, but the drifting and the boost that you get from drifting, and you get power-ups and stuff, but those mechanic works a bit differently than it is in Mario Kart.
In Mario Kart, right? When you hit an item thing or item box where
everyone
you get
gets
items,
the same item.
Yeah, you get the same item. In this game, it's almost like there's classes, right? You have the brawler, you have the defender, the trickster, and the speedster, and they all obviously each character is different, but each archetype is trying to do a different thing, right?
Yes.
The defender, they want to defend themselves. They just want to be able to do let them cook. They just want to cook.
They just want to cook.
And then the brawler let him brawl. He's one to
Yeah.
mess people up.
You're fighting, you're swinging.
Right, and then you have
The trickster.
The trickster.
Who is like, they do the things that make your driving
Hard.
janky
Yes.
and just hard. Like there's a reverse, there's a like mirror or like reverse like mechanic or
yes.
item that the trickster can get, and it, when you run into it and when an opponent run into it, it like flips their entire screen, and now you're on reverse controls and everything is flipped. And it's like mirror mode in Mario Kart for
Yes.
about 5 seconds, and it really
actually
throws
is like,
you off.
I didn't think it was that bad, and then like when you're on a turn and then it happens, and the animation also takes a second for it to rotate the
It rotates
the
your
screen.
entire screen, yeah.
It's very like disorienting.
Yes.
And so tricksters do that, and speedsters,
They're
I want to
just
go fast. I want to go fast.
Everything
you know,
fast.
Sonic. You know.
Yeah. And I actually play. I either play Megara or which I love that Hercules and Megara are like
Yes.
pivotal to the beginning of this game, because put some more respect on Hercules' name.
Yeah.
You know. And Belle is a speedster, and I pretty much main Belle right now.
Yeah.
I love Belle. And so anyway, so each character has their own mechanics and their own things that they do. When you run into an item box, you can only get the kind of items that you, like, your character can get.
Yes.
And each character, it's different. And I think later down the line, you can actually switch out some of those items that you pick up.
Potentially.
And each item also, they work a little bit different than they do in Mario Kart. So there is the classic, like, you know, shoot it forward, shoot it backward, but instead of shooting it forward or shooting it backward, shooting it forward, you know, will do one thing, but sometimes shooting it backward or like pressing back and the item will do something completely different. Like, it's the same item, but it'll be so my best example of this is, I don't know what the item's called, but it just looks like a flame. Like, it's just like a flame that shows up when you get the item. And with this flame, you can either just click the item button, or in this case we play on PlayStation, so it's triangle. And it like sends an aura of fire around you, and you go
specifically
a little faster.
To the left and the right of you, it goes like up really far.
Yeah, and so it goes like to the kind of left and the right of you. You got this aura of fire, and then, you know, if you hit someone, it like messes them up or whatever. And you go a little faster. If you click back and click triangle, it actually leaves, like, it's like your tires leave a trail of fire behind them. So, like, when I'm always in first place, I will always click back and click triangle, because there's no point for me to use the forward version because there's no one in front of me. And so then it leaves, like, the trail of fire behind you, and if someone runs into that trail, it messes them up. And then there is the charge state, which is, I think that's really cool.
It's awesome.
It's a really cool mechanic, and so, and all items have a charged version, and it just means you hold triangle instead of clicking it, and so you're like charging it, and then the charged mode is basically like, to me, it's most optimal mode.
Usually.
And so with that flame one, it sends out just a big, like, circular explosion, like, all, like, 360 around your person.
And the thing is, I love that you used the flame one as an example, but most of them, I would say the charge one is usually the best one. Not always, but it usually is. But the flame one specifically is the one that has more contextual uses.
It is situational,
where it's like, usually the one where you just tap it and it shoots flames off the sides, usually the weakest one, but it can be really good when people are like close to you trying to like bully you. And then when you're ahead and people are starting to catch up, shooting the flames behind you, especially in narrow like where people can't have a lot of options, like that can put a lot of pressure on people. And then when you're like showing up and everyone's around you and you just blast 3 people with the charge version, there's a lot of variety in what you can do there. And you know, that's this game's strength, is it has that, and each character has a super, right? And the supers aren't like, you want to think of it as a slightly more powerful item, because it's not like game-breaking, game-changing.
Because you can get them multiple times
in a row. You can get literally twice in a row get their super. It's not like, you don't charge their super.
It's not like the Lucky 8 or whatever it's called in Mario Kart. Where it's like the Lucky 7 or the Lucky 8. I think we've had both. And, well, in Mario Kart 7, it was like 7, the Lucky 7, and then it was 8 and the Lucky 8, and then you get like every single item in the whatever, in the item that's available in an item box, and In this game, it's not like that. It's not like, oh my god, like I got a stroke of luck to get my super. No, I've gotten a super 5 times a game, but it's just an item that's very specific to that character. Like most of the speedsters have the same boost things that you get from an item box, but like, you know, Mike and Belle are both speedsters, and Mike Wazowski's super is very different than Belle's super. Like Belle's super, she has her magic mirror or whatever, and she's like, show me something that can help. And then her super is like the equivalent of the ghost mechanic in Mario Kart, where she like looks for someone else's item and steals it. Yeah. And so that's her super. Yeah. And then Mickey's super is basically just like a
boost,
kind of like star power.
Yeah.
It's like because he goes faster. It's a boost, but it also makes him, I think, invulnerable or something like that. Okay. And then, but the catch with Mickey's is that it makes you go fast. It makes you a little invincible.
But if you drive along the same line as him,
he leaves like a musical trail behind him which I think is super cool. And if you drive on his trail, then you get to go fast and you're invincible too. And again, there are charged and not charged versions of the supers as well. And so I think that this is the game, that this is the one kart racing game that I've played that I feel like it truly is just skill.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to say because you understand kart racing games a lot more than I do. So if you feel that way, I'll just agree with you. I haven't played enough of it, but sometimes it feels like I'm like, how the hell do I get out of this like 5th place or whatever? Like
it's hard.
Sometimes you can feel like stuck, or sometimes like you feel like you're doing so good in first and still get like you're in first for like 2 laps, and then the second half of the last lap you just get robbed. It can feel like but that can happen in any kart racer.
That can happen in any kart racing game with items, you know.
And you know the last thing also I want to relate to the people is that the last basic mechanic that you need to know is that you can drift and get the boost like Mario Kart, but there is like an actual boost button, right? So you actually boost, and you actually want to time that with there's like boost lines on the ground that you want to hit. So when you're boosting, when you hit those boost lines, they make you go even faster, and they recharge
your boost meter.
Yes.
And so that's really cool. Like you can keep your boost meter. Like
if you learn the tracks, you
have to keep your boost meter. Once it gets full, you click in PlayStation's boost. It's X. You click X, and then it starts your boost. And then if you keep getting those things that like recharge your boost, and your boost meter is still going, like it'll start like kind of refilling it, and you can make that boost last longer. And I think that that's super awesome. We're running out of time, so I gotta kind of wrap this up. But I would like to say the tracks are awesome. Like there's so much visually going on in Speedstorm that I feel like is actually kind of lacking in Mario Kart, and I didn't think that about Mario Kart originally until I played this game, and I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on in this game.
In Speedstorm, you're going so fast, and there's so much, it's like, it can almost be an assault on your senses, but it's so fun, and you're so in it, while Mario Kart, it kind of allows you to be like, oh, you're just looking around enjoying the track, which I think is cool in its own way, but this, it's like, there's like you're going between 2 pirate ships, and the cannons are like firing, and it's go yo, and there's like all these effects, and it looks crazy, along with the fact that each course
has different tracks.
It's like Forza. It's like more of an actual normal racing game where it isn't just one track is one track. You have one track that can be 8 different tracks.
Yeah, so like in Beauty and the Beast Castle, I think there's like 5 or 6 different tracks that go through the castle, and adding on to the Pirates of the Caribbean with the cannons and stuff going everywhere. I love the Beauty and the Beast one because when you go through like the dining room table or the dining room of Beast Castle, there's like the Be Our Guest, like the plates are going everywhere, and the dishes are like flying around and stuff, and you can like, it looks like that, like a little bit like clips from the scene of all the dishware dancing and like stuff while you're driving, and they're like going over your head and stuff, and it looks so cool, and
it's great. And I think, you know, obviously we're trying to wrap this up, so I do want to say the one negative of this game, if you're going to pick this game up, is okay, first, huge positive, $30.
Yes.
$30. that's why I think you definitely should buy this game. If you
I
like
agree.
kart racers, you should buy it. But the one negative is the fact that it is a monetized game. It is $30, and so they do try to monetize as much as they can. So there's like a battle pass. There's like the store with these 10 trillion different types of coin. There's like, oh, these are multiplayer coins, and here's our Monster University coins, and then here is single player coins, and it is so confusing on what does what. And
leveling up your carts gets really
super
confusing.
Menus on menus, like. But here's the thing: if you don't want to mess with that stuff, you don't have to. Go in the free play, have fun. And here's the thing: you can play multiplayer and play like the pay to win, fucking like crazy.
So there's ranked, and that's the pay to win one. And then there is
it's called regulated multiplayer.
Regulated, yes.
And so in regulated multiplayer, everyone's at a fair, even level. And so if you don't want to mess with that stuff, with the grindy stuff or with the pay to win stuff, you don't have to. You play regulated multiplayer and have fun. You play by yourself, have fun. Everything's unlocked. But if you want to play that more like, we're going to do all these stats and make this like this
super
crazy optimized like
I want to get platinum in Disney Speedstorm, you know.
Then you can do that. And so it doesn't feel, it's like a even though usually that would be like a huge like negative towards a game, since there's so many ways to work around it or not interact with it, it's only a minor gripe.
Yes.
It's literally a minor gripe.
Like if you're like me and you are kind of sweaty about like kart racers for no reason,
yes,
then the optimization is great because once you get your head around it, I still don't have my head wrapped around it though because I've never played a kart racer where there's this much optimization.
Yes.
You know, you get to change your kart, you can change your character stats, you can change your characters has a team, and you can change all your like team stats. It's so much. But I also am like, I'm gonna become the best Disney Speedstorm player in the world.
So, being our consummate kart racer here, right?
Yes.
What would you rate Speedstorm on a scale of whatever you want? If you want to be 10 or 5 or 100 or whatever you want to do it.
I'm on the Disney Speedstorm high right now.
Okay.
And so
you know what? You'll say your review. We'll revisit it when we play Lego
2K Drive.
2K Drive.
Because here's the thing. I think I need more like stuff. But I love that I feel like it's definitely like a skill-based kart racing game. You can't get Mario Karted in this game because you can definitely get Mario Karted in Mario Kart.
It just happened to me yesterday or the day before. It was crazy.
So I love Mario Kart, and will forever be my favorite, be the number one.
Yeah.
But I gotta rate this one higher.
Oh shoot!
I'm also irritated that they haven't come out with a new Mario Kart in years now.
I think there's a lot of stuff to unpack with Mario Kart that we can do another time.
Yes, another time. But I'm and you can have whatever hot take you want to have. But as someone who plays the crap out of Mario Kart and has been playing the crap out of this game for the past week, I would say I'd give this like a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10. You heard it here. A Girl Boy Games 9 out of 10. Our first review is Disney Speedstorm. And
as a kart racer. As a kart
racing game. Yeah.
Compared to God of War, it is not like that. Yes.
I think this is what I want to say for people watching this is that our reviews a lot of the time are contextual. So it's our number, honestly, it matters, but not as much as, like, let's say an IGN number. Because it's not, like, comparing against every game ever. It's really usually comparing it within its medium. So, a 9 out of 10 for kart racers. And if you want to hear more of our opinions on kart racing games, when Lego 2K Drive comes out, we will be doing a little review for that. So, definitely check that out. But it is time for us to wrap this up.
Yes, I gotta go take some kids to a movie.
So if you enjoyed what you were hearing, please drop a follow on your preferred podcast platform. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. And if you want even more content, follow our YouTube channel at girlboygames, Games, our Twitter at girlboygamesyt, and our TikTok at girlboygamesyt for even more hilarious clips. This was Mel the Man-Eater, also known as Melly. Go follow her on TikTok at Mel the Man-Eater and YouTube at Mel the Man-Eater.
And this was Bearded Panda. Go follow him at Bearded Panda on YouTube and at Bearded Panda on TikTok and on Twitter and everything.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.